In this week's video, we're going to show how to toggle the requirement level of a field based on an option set value. We're going to use the script author to show you how to build this script with some moderate complexity. So what I want to do and what we're going to demonstrate here is if we look at the account form, we're basically going to take our field on here. We have multiple forms. We're going to go over to the information form. We're going to use that as our example. And we're going to set this relationship type field. If it's equal to either a customer or an influencer, we want to make sure our credit limit here is required. But if this field is prospect, then we want to say the credit limit field is just recommended. Otherwise, any of these other values should just leave it as no requirement level at all, meaning it's optional. So to show how to do this, we'll open up the script author, and we're going to choose our account entity. We want to give it a name. And we want to make sure we choose the right form. So I'm going to choose the information form here. And we also want to set this when the field value changes. So we're going to scroll down and we're going to find our relationship type field, so that's going to be what's causing our script to fire off. So now we're going to start off by adding an action. It's going to be a check condition. And what the first one's going to say is if a field on the form with the name relationship type is equal to a customer, and we're also going to add an or here. And we're going to say or a field on the form with the name relationship type again is equal to influencer, continue. So now we've got our first if where we're saying if the relationship type is equal to either customer or influencer, then, and what we want to do is we want to set a field as required, recommended, or none. So we're going to set our credit limit field to required. Now what we want to do is we want to put a conditional branch here, because we've got our if. Now we want to do something if another option sets up. So notice conditional branch and default action are grayed out. So what I have to do is I have to select what we want the conditional branch or the default action to hang off of. So by clicking on my if statement here or my initial condition, it allows me to then select conditional branch. So now I can say otherwise if a field on the form with the name relationship type is equal to a prospect, continue, and this time we'll set field of required, recommended, or none, but what we're going to do is we're going to set our credit limit field now to recommended. Hit continue. So now the final step is just to add a default condition, and what we do again, we have to select either or otherwise or if to show what the default is going off of. So we select our if here, then we select default action, so now we can say set field required, recommended, or none for our credit limit field, and this time it's going to be optional. So to recap, you can look at what our summary says here. We're basically saying if our relationship type is customer or influencer, we're going to set it to required. Otherwise, if it's a prospect, it's going to be recommended. Anything else is optional. So we hit continue to publish the form. And it says the script's been published. We can hit OK. Script author will reset itself here, and now I can go back over to CRM, and if I open back up an account record, ensure I'm on the correct form over here, I should be able to go down here and select customer, and you see the asterisk pop up to show my credit limit is now required. If I choose prospect, it's a blue plus to show that it's recommended, and anything else is going to show none, with the exception, of course, of influencer, which is also required. So now we can take a look at what the script actually looks like. So looking in the form properties on the designer, you'll see that here's our script, and if I paste that into Visual Studio here real quick, I can get a quick glance at what our script looks like. And then you can see that it's pretty clean code. It goes through, it does our evaluation of our different values, and once it has it, it determines based on those conditions, it's going to set it to either required, recommended, or none. So again, the script can be modified by any developer who wants to extend it further. Thanks for your time.